Blog Talk Radio.
Lincoln 103, 5 Lincoln 102, Lincoln 103 and 102.
Responding to 401 parking structure, section 1 boy.
Henry 8, Henry 9. Respond to gate 437 Bravo for your dignitary detail. 3K 911 unattended 400 lower level near carousel 4 black bag. GTA in progress, 401 parking structure, section 4 boy.
Responding to 401 parking structure, section 1 boy.
415 passenger onboard aircraft.
Control 2 Franklin in route.
484 suspect, female, Hispanic, 28 years of age, blue jeans, no further.
Control 5 Frank 401 is en route.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Private Officer Beat radio program, right here broadcasting live to you from Studio A in Charlotte, North Carolina on this Monday morning, the 15th of the new year, 2018. We're at that halfway point in the first month already. I don't know how to make time slow down. But if you've got that magic potion, lotion, wand, whatever machine, please let me know, because we definitely want to slow this time down. It has gone so fast in recent years. Here we are anyways, again this week on the Private Officer Beat with a lot of information, of course, to share with you during this program, and of course a lot of news. Now, last week on the program we did share some of the 2017 security officer statistical data as it related to the security officer deaths. Now today on this edition we're going to share some more comprehensive statistical data regarding injuries, lawsuits, arrests, and also security officer deaths information that we didn't include last week on the program. So be sure to stay tuned for that information. It's very comprehensive. Our news department here at Private Officer International spends a lot of time 24/7 every single day, including the holidays. Yes, we were really here in the office and collecting data and news on Christmas Day, New Year's, Thanksgiving, and all other holidays. Somebody's in the office, somebody's staffing our help desk / news desk every single day, even 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. When you're sleeping, when you're awake, somebody is manning our help desk / news desk and collecting that data. Very vital and important work that we do here at Private Officer International, a work that nobody else does. So we've got some very comprehensive information and statistics to share with you later in this program. So don't go away. You're sure going to want to hear this information. We also, of course, have seen a very violent beginning to 2018, and as a recent post that I sent, a recent email in the last few days said, 2017 just seamlessly crossed into 2018 and picked up the pace a little bit, and we're going to share what has happened in the first 14 days of 2018 with you coming up as well in this episode. Now, I also want to talk with you for a few moments about how we have, I think, brought the media to start paying attention to the security industry. We've had, over the last I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years, dozens and dozens, in fact, more than 100 interviews in the last couple of years with news outlets, both local, regional, and national. We have been asked by the Associated Press recently to write an article for them. We've been recently in the Huffington Post. We've been on CBS National News. And we have brought to the forefront, I believe, more than any other association or organization, the true facts of the evolution of the private security industry as we see it and know it today. And I think that our organization, because of our agency having its own news department, we've been able to share a lot of news and statistics with regional, local, and national news that they didn't have before. Most of the coverage was negative, I would say, up until the last few years. Now, security agencies across the country are becoming much more proactive and involved in stopping and preventing crime, and the media is beginning to see that and pay attention, especially when a security officer is gravely injured or killed in the line of duty. So I need you, each of you listening today, and if you're listening on demand, if you're listening on iTunes, Rhapsody, or some other platform, I need you to get involved. I really do. I need for you to pay attention to the local news in your area surrounding loss prevention, public safety, private security, and even law enforcement, and send us news tips. Send us the links, helpdesk@privateofficer.com. When you hear of a security officer injured, when you hear of somebody pulling a gun, a knife on a security officer, when you hear of a security officer death, please, please, all it takes is a couple of keystrokes. Send us the link, helpdesk@privateofficer.com. We see a lot of things posted across social media. We see a lot of our followers on Facebook who they don't think nothing of it, just put it on Facebook. But how about sending it to us direct, helpdesk@privateofficer.com, so that we can follow up, so that we can verify, so that we can dig a little deeper into what happened and use it not only for news and statistics, but also use it as a lesson. A lot of people use our news and information as part of their lesson plans in their schools and businesses, and we definitely need your assistance. It's also a tool that we use whenever we're talking to a regulatory commission or state senators and representatives who change the law, make law in your state. We use that information, that data, to help them understand the reason and the necessity for the increased training and the increased laws that make it safer for security to do their job. So please, if you see something, even if you're not sure if it's important or you think maybe we've already seen it ourselves, that's okay. Send it to helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Helpdesk@privateofficer.com. We appreciate it, and it will help everyone in our industry. This past week in Charlotte, North Carolina, a very violent, dangerous, homicidal, suicidal man opened fire at Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department. Police officers staging to go out to make an arrest of a wanted murderer were ambushed in the evening Thursday night at their own police headquarters. A man who had killed his girlfriend, kidnapped a child, and then later dropped the child off, hid until the dark of cover, and then while police were hunting him, he turned the tables on them and hunted them. He came to the police headquarters in downtown Charlotte, North Carolina, a major city, a major police department with about 3,000 police officers, and he opened fire, striking one of the police officers until he was eventually killed by police. The importance of this news incident for you, no matter where you are, is that I want you to see, hear, and understand the changing of the time. The Bible talks about all of the things that we will see in the end time and how the world will get worse. And I know that people hundreds of years ago looked at the times and they said the same thing. My gosh, this world, it's getting so violent, it's getting so bad, it's getting so unlivable. But today, we are facing a threat unlike times past. I remember in the 60s when there were environmentalists who protested and shot at police and even killed police. I remember the Black Panthers, again, a very violent group who attacked law enforcement. We're seeing that same disregard for law enforcement, disregard for life portrayed every single day around the country by various groups, and just the blatant lawlessness. In recent weeks, the FBI and the Department of Justice have said that violence is on the rise. Murder is on the rise. Violent crimes on the rise. Yes, gun violence on the rise by people who shouldn't have the guns and who are very dangerous with them. A shooting at a police department? Not only at a police department, but in the midst of a briefing where dozens of law enforcement and even the news media staging there in the parking lot of the police department. Police officers walking all around, cameras from the news media, cameras, security cameras and surveillance on the officers, on the building, and yet this vicious, violent suspect was brazen enough to pull in there and open fire and ambush police on their own department property. That's the day and time that we're living in. And so it's very violent for you, the security officer, in this day and age. If people do not respect law enforcement, they definitely will not respect private security most of the time, who are unarmed, untrained, and just ill-prepared to defend themselves or others. And even though I hear people say, "Oh, bring them over, I'll kill them, I'll put a bullet, I'll put some lead in them, bring them over, I'll take care of business." It's easy to say that, but unless you have substantial training and wherewithal to use lethal force, deadly force, to pull the trigger, it may not be so easy. We are in a time, my friend, when security officers play a vital role, when a security officer's authority, duties, responsibilities, and just expectations by clients and the public alike have expounded drastically, just definitely since 9/11, but definitely just in the last 5 to 10 years. And we're going to continue to see that more and more and more. Well, this week, on this edition of the Private Officer Beat, we want to share the first 14 days of violence in the security field. We want to share with you the 2017 comprehensive report of security officer deaths, injuries, lawsuits, and arrests that have occurred. And we also want to talk about what to expect in 2018. And of course, in the next segment, we have a whole lot of news to talk about as well. Thanks for listening to us here on the Private Officer Beat this Monday morning, the 15th of 2018. We're going to take our first little break. When we come back, we're going to get right over to the news, and we're also going to talk a little bit about what to expect, what's happening in the upcoming days, weeks, and months of 2018. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
They say if you want a wish to come true, never tell anyone. But there is one wish that can make the difference between life and death. And this wish can only come true if you tell someone. Please, let your family know you want to be an organ donor.
HirePatriots.com is a free website where you can help our active, reserve, veteran military and their families by letting them help you. Do you have a chore that needs doing around your home or yard? Is your company looking for a new hire? Then post your jobs for free at HirePatriots.com. Visit HirePatriots.com and post your jobs today. HirePatriots.com.
We are back on this edition of the Private Officer Beat, Monday morning, the 15th of a brand new year, 2018, January 15, 2018. We want to, of course, before we go any further, before we head over to the news desk, we want to, of course, thank our very, very good friends and sponsor of the Private Officer Beat, Body Armor USA. We've got what it takes to protect you, and trust me, they do. Whether you're working in corrections, security, law enforcement, or you just need some extra protection because of the type of business you're in, hopefully it's all legal, dude. Our friends over at Body Armor USA, they've got you covered, man. They've got everything that you could imagine, from stab vest to great body armor, protective gear like, you know, you wouldn't believe. Check them out today, Body Armor USA, and tell them, only of course if it's true, that you're a member of the association, POI, and you'll get a special discount just for being a member. So be sure to check them out today, Body Armor USA. We appreciate them, and we appreciate our other sponsors, and you too can sponsor our radio show, digital magazine, website, yada, yada, yada. I mean, we've got a great marketing package for you. You can, for one low, dirt cheap price, reach your target market. More than 100,000 hits every week. Be sure to contact us, help desk, privateofficer.com. Call us today, Monday through Thursday, our business hours, 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. Eastern Time on the East Coast, the Mid-Atlantic, area code 704-831-8109. You can be a sponsor, or you can just advertise on our website if that's what you choose to do. Contact us today by email or phone, and we will help you out and show you how easy and affordable it really is. Now, happening today, Monday, right off the bat, it's freezing again. We have had real heat issues and water pipe problems in both our school location in Virginia and our corporate offices in Charlotte. It's been so up and down. It was 67 degrees on Saturday and Friday and rained, and now the temperature has again dropped dramatically and, of course, getting very cold, and they're talking about snow. I don't know. One day it's spring, the next day it's winter. You can't keep up with it. Be sure to dress appropriately if you're working outside, and always have inclement weather gear with you, whether that be raincoats, boots, gloves, hats, scarves, whatever it might be. Make sure that you're dressed properly. I mean, if you're not only will you get sick, but you're not going to be comfortable, and you're not going to be able to effectively do your job because other things will be on your mind. All right, well, we've got a lot of breaking news happening. We want to get over to the news desk and tell you about some of this stuff. Over in San Jose, California this past week, a deranged man with axes and throwing knives breached the security at the Metcalf Energy power plant, actually was able to get past security on the premises, and the 27-year-old resident of San Jose was able to get past them, and police had to be called. The confrontation occurred, and he was shot and killed by police. I don't know if the security personnel at that power plant was armed. I know that in the last couple of years we've been telling you about how some power plants are disarming their security staff, taking away their sidearms and keeping rifles, AR-15 platform-type rifles, locked throughout the premises. What good is that going to do? What good is that going to do? Something is going on the property. You're not going to have time to run to some point, some place on the property and grab your firearm. That makes no sense at all. So I'm not sure if that was the situation on this property, but I do know that the man did get past security and was eventually shot and killed by police. In San Francisco, police had to be called because a Garda World armored truck crashed into a tree, stayed on scene for a few minutes, and then left the scene of the crime. Police say that the driver and the passenger security officer was not injured, and the company agreed to pay for the damages. In Overland Park, Kansas, this is something that we're seeing quite a bit across the country. The city of Overland Park, Kansas Police Department officially turned over all of their crossing guard services to a private security firm last week. Now, the firm that took over these parking crossing guard services is someone that we are very familiar with, a company called All City Management Services, a private security and crossing guard company, traffic control, and we see this, we're seeing it, we're seeing even traffic control, we're seeing response to misdemeanor crimes, all being turned over to private entities, and I think you're going to see a lot more of this in years to come. A security officer in Alberta, Canada, on patrol in a very snowy area, found 3 people dead in a parked car outside of a small Alberta community, and authorities believe that they died of carbon monoxide poisoning. The security officer, making routine patrols, notified the Royal Mounted Canadian Police, and the young people, 29, 22, and 24, all deceased in their vehicle. But police do believe that it was a result of carbon monoxide. You may have seen this in last week's headline news all across the country. Immigration agents raided dozens and dozens, more than 100 7-Eleven stores looking for I-9 information. Immigration agents have a right to go into any employer at any time and ask for what's called an I-9 audit. Every employer, even you, if you own a security company or a school, is required to fill out an I-9 and to document that the immigration status or the citizenship of the employee. So they did make dozens of arrests, actually, at 7-Elevens, and they plan on doing it at other companies as well. As a private security firm, make sure that you have your house in order. Make sure that you have all of your paperwork in the files appropriately in each employee's file. Make sure that it's accurate. Make sure that you have nothing to hide or, to kind of be found guilty of anything. I mean, we're in the business, folks, in the security business. It's a paraprofessional type business, and we're in the business to be, to protect life and property, and we've got to be on the up and up. And I say that every day. I just said it several times this weekend when we were talking about a situation that happened, and it's a long story. Anyways, just make sure that your house is in order. In Columbia, Missouri, a Waffle House, a security firm, has been sued just days after a shooting by a security officer. A security officer on the 1st of this month, January 2018, shot a man in the middle of a Waffle House. There was a shooting inside. The security officer went in. He saw people beginning to push in on him. He felt like his life was in danger, and he fired a shot and killed someone who was not involved in the shooting. And now, just a few days later, they didn't wait no time at all. The family filed a lawsuit against the Waffle House and the security officer. We're following this story because we want to see, I think that there's a good possibility that this security officer could even face criminal charges because he randomly fired a shot that cost a man his life. In Palmyra, Wisconsin, authorities there say that they have combined or are combining their fire service, EMS, and police. It's a very small community. We've seen this done in numerous locations over the last 10 years. Small communities combining their public safety services. So a police officer is also a firefighter, is also an EMT. And in a community that I lived at a while back, that's how that town ran. Their public safety department, as they called it, was all three. If you called EMS, it could be the same guy that you called yesterday, and he was a police officer. So with limited resources and budgets and really a lack of volunteers these days, they have to cross-train all of their responders to be multiple things. Over in England, a private firm is taking over a number of law enforcement services, and this is nothing new for England, Australia, Canada, and a number of other countries where they have been taking over law enforcement duties for years. And now this particular situation, they're going to be policing entire community. You're going to see it here, folks. I'm just telling you. You just hang on. It's coming. And it won't be that long. I promise you. It's just around the corner. A man in Portland, Oregon was arrested after threatening church security officers with a cleaver. He damaged the property. He was confronted by security. He pulled a knife and a meat cleaver. After the church had been closed and locked, the security officer found the man on the premises. Andre Coleman, 37, was arrested for multiple charges. He had a hatchet, a knife, a cleaver, 2 large kitchen knives. I don't know if that security officer was armed, but I sure hope so because I tell you, a lot of things could have went bad in that situation real fast. Hey, do you guys get our newsletters and our read our news blog and get all the news alerts. If not, go to our website at privateofficer.org. Privateofficer.org. Right on the front page, you can sign up for all of our free news alerts, newsletters, training announcements. You're going to get the whole 9 yards right there. And guess what? Free of charge. In Howell, New Jersey, a family settled with the city, it's really a town, and with a security firm in the death of a young man in 2015 at a weekend music festival in Howell, New Jersey. Timothy J. Harden died in the hands or as a result of excessive force by private security working at the event and law enforcement. And the family did settle that case this week, and the town settled that case this week. I guess it'd been going on for a couple of years, and they finally said, we're going to go ahead and settle and just be done with it. Omaha, Nebraska. Get this. A security officer confronted a robbery suspect at the Bank of the West in Omaha, Nebraska, 5 p.m. Thursday, as he attempted to rob it. Now, the security officer didn't pull a gun. He didn't shoot the man. He didn't tase him. He didn't knock him to the ground and handcuff him. He shouted at the man, "Get the heck out of here." And with his verbal commands and his, overall look, presentation, the man obviously wasn't armed, thankfully, and he did run from that bank. And so, security officer, just with his voice, was able to stop a bank robbery in progress. In Hanover County, Virginia, that is just north of Richmond, Virginia, kind of in the central area of the state, a police chief there has been arrested and charged with 2 counts of indecent exposure. He was the police chief, or probably still is, at the Defense Logistics Agency in Chesterfield County, Virginia. That is an agency of the Department of Defense. And this police chief, Chad Taryn, 41, has been charged with 2 counts of indecent exposure and conducting lewd acts in the parking lot of a business. Deputies say that they had set up surveillance in the area and they caught this suspect. Not a lot of information as to what happened, but evidently it was enough probable cause there to make that arrest. I'm not sure what's going to happen to him, but we'll see. New Haven, Connecticut, my old stomping grounds, the New Haven Housing Authority said they can no longer afford to pay for security, and they're cutting all security immediately to the whole housing authority because of cutbacks, federal cutbacks, where they're not able to get the money anymore. I've seen it, worked in an agency that was funded by the federal government under special grants. When we lost the money from the federal government, we closed up shop. All the police officers was laid off, and the agency ceased to be. So I can understand how the New Haven Housing Authority has to kind of do the same, tighten their belt and get rid of security. They're the first to go. In Medford, Oregon, police there say a student at the high school was arrested for assaulting a security officer. The 17-year-old, police are not releasing his name, did assault the security officer and has been charged with several counts in that assault. Also, an off-duty New York hospital security officer was killed during a domestic violence incident in Ellenville, New York. That's a very small community. He was involved with a woman, and the former boyfriend of the woman found the two together and outside of an apartment complex opened fire, killing them both. The off-duty security officer, he was innocent of anything, and unfortunately, he was killed. Also happening that last week, a man attempted to steal some property in Wichita. A security officer working for Signal 88 tried to stop him. The man tried to run him down with his vehicle, and he was able to escape. New York City, a couple of years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, New York City had their own park rangers. These rangers were classified under New York statute as peace officers. They had arrest authority. They could write a citation. They could take care of business. But in a cost-cutting move, the Battery Park City Authority decided to cut them out completely and outsource their services. They hired Allied Universal, and it was a problem because, of course, their security officers could not arrest anyone. They could not hand out any citations or tickets. But now, after negotiating with the city of New York, NYPD will be deputizing a certain amount of these Allied Universal employees to be peace officers and have arrest authority within Battery Park, which is a very large area. And so it's going to be good on one hand, but I really wonder if there'll be any additional training. I doubt it. A bill going through the legislation in Florida right now would allow certain employees, including security, to carry handguns in Florida. Senate Bill 1236 would make it legal for employees and volunteers chosen by that school district to be armed on the school property. The bill requires those selected to hold carry permits. They must also complete 40 hours of school safety training and 8 hours of active shooter training, among other criteria. Well, I like that part. I just don't know who's going to be teaching that, whether it's coming through the police or a security school. But that may be an opportunity for us, for Armor College, and we'll be looking into that. As always, there's a lot of breaking news this week and every week. Be sure to go to our website, privateofficer.org. Right there, click on the link to sign up for all of the breaking news, all of the newsletters. You can also follow our news blog right there from our main website and enjoy all the information and news and statistical information coming out free. We're going to take a break. We want to talk about a couple of other things, as I said at the top of the hour. And when we come back, we're going to get into that. And then we're going to talk about the more comprehensive data report for 2017. We call it Security by the Numbers. We're coming right back. Don't go away.
Nurse, I need you to apply pressure to the head wound until I can get to it. I'm concerned she's lost too much blood.
Oh, no.
You in the corner, who are you? You're not supposed to be here.
She's my girlfriend, Doctor.
You need to wait out in the waiting room.
Please, Doctor, I want to stay with her.
Look, she's been badly injured. So if you want to do what's best for her, you need to let us do our work.
Please, Doctor, she has to be okay. I didn't mean to do this. I love her.
Wait a second. You were the driver?
Yes, but I didn't mean to. I swear, we went to dinner. I was just buzzed. I only had a few drinks.
Just buzzed? Why didn't you tell us that? In that case, your girlfriend is fine.
Hey, sweetie. I feel great. You want to get out of here?
I can't believe this. Really, Doctor? She's really okay?
What, are you kidding? No, not really. Nurse, get me a suture kit. Stat.
Buzzed driving. Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A public service...
Hey everyone, make sure that you are following us on our social media, especially on our Twitter and Facebook. We have lively conversations happening every day, at any given time, really, around the clock. We have participants and followers who chime in often with comments about our breaking news, as well as news of their own. And you don't want to miss it because it really lets you know what's happening across the country and around the world. It's very informative, a lot of great stuff. Be sure to be part of our community on Facebook and on Twitter All that you have to do is go to our website, privateofficer.org, and you can link right from there, or just go to Twitter at privateofficer.com and sign up that way. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media and sign up for our breaking news alerts at privateofficer.org right now. So much news happening. These news alerts really clue you in and really help you to know that you're not out there alone doing the job. Be sure to become a member of Private Officer International with over 40 member benefits. Sign up today, privateofficer.org. You can always contact us 24/7 if you have any questions about our organization, breaking news alerts, training, or general information. Help desk at privateofficer.com. Help desk at privateofficer.com. You know, every private security officer, whether you're working at a mall, a school, a general patrol account, or any other business, public safety officers, law enforcement officers, corrections, everyone out there in the public safety world today needs to be well protected. That's why we recommend that you go to our friends, Body Armor USA. Check them out today online. We've got what it takes to protect you. They've got the greatest body armor. They have clothing, gloves, and other safety gear that's going to protect you on the job. BodyArmorUSA.com. Check them out today and tell them that you're a member of POI, and you're going to get a great discount just for being a member of our great association. We are looking for committee members for our awards committee, our legislative committee, and also our general service committee. If you are a member of Private Officer and you'd like to get involved, please send an email today at helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Helpdesk@privateofficer.com. You'll only be asked to give up a couple of hours a year, not a month, not a day, not a week, just a few hours a year to help our organization to advance the public safety, private security industry, and it's going to be very rewarding for you. We also have 2 openings on our advisory board. If you want to become a board member, please submit your resume and a letter to helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Committee members and board members and others who are part of our team receive free training, some logo wear, and other perks just to kind of show you our appreciation. So just submit that information to helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Do you own a security training school, a medical service school, or some other training facility? Do you want to increase your curriculum and your income? Do you want to help your community with public safety training? If you've answered yes to any or all of those questions, then we want to talk to you. Armor College, a very unique public safety school offering more than 600 courses under one roof, is expanding rapidly, and we want to partner with your current school. Please send an email to Carrie, C-A-R-R-I-E, at Armor College, A-R-M-O-U-R, college.org today. Call 804-290-4388, 804-290-4388, and ask for Carrie Baker Monday through Thursday if you want more information on how to partner with our growing public safety school. Well, we have a lot of things that we want to talk about and a limited time to do it. But one of the things that I definitely want to share with you today last week on our program, we did share with you the 2017 security officer deaths. But the information that we shared with you last week was general. Our members and supporters received a much more comprehensive report. So, to enlighten you and inform you, engage you, and to let you know what truly is happening in the security industry today, I want to share our comprehensive report with you to let you know what really happened in the private security world in 2017. Now, last week, we told you that in our statistical report, we have confirmed about 115 security officers dead. We had 46 that were shot to death. 39 of those officers were unarmed. We had 8 stabbings. 12 died of illnesses, including 81% of heart attacks and strokes while on the job. We had 1 person who fell from a building and 2 others whose death remained unclassified. We had 10 vehicle accidents, including 5 vehicles, 1 golf cart, 1 bicycle, and 3 killed in other vehicles. We had 14 security officers that died from assaults, intentionally assaulted, including with vehicles. We had 4 drownings, all during the hurricanes of Harvey, Irma, and Maria, and we had 3 that succumbed to smoke inhalation as structure fires. 115 security officers killed. The median age of the security officers was 49. Of the states that had the most security deaths, it mirrors the states that had the most law enforcement deaths. And this happens almost every single year. The top 3 states remain the same for as long as we have been doing this report, and I believe that these 3 states, being the largest states and the largest concentration of private security, will probably continue not only to remain in the top 5 for the most violent state for security, as well as the most security officer deaths. We just, there's others climbing up the ladder. There's so much violence, I don't think that people realize. I mean, it's very frustrating to see what's happening and so few really paying attention. California, Texas, and Florida. California, Texas, and Florida were the top 3 states where security officers died in the line of duty. Very tragic. California had 12. Texas had 8. Florida had 9. Alabama, Louisiana, Maryland, Nevada, New York, North Carolina also had more than 5 security officer deaths. Very, very tragic. And yet, there's no outcry. There's no outcry from employers, employees, the public, and although the media is really starting to pick up on it, they're really starting to publicize it, I still don't see overall a huge cry out, a huge outcry from the industry, from regulatory agencies. I'm shocked. I'm totally shocked. Other statistics that should be noted. 3 security officers confirmed, and we know that there was more, but 3 died of suicides, died on duty of suicides. We've had as many as 18 in 1 year that we were able to confirm killing themselves on the job. As more and more security officers face the same stressors that law enforcement face, the unusual hours, the long hours, the assaults and violence, home life issues, we're seeing more and more security officers facing the same thing as law enforcement. So this past year, in 2017, 3 confirmed suicides on the job. 33,193 assaults, batteries, or threats of assaults were reported. 33,193. Now, let me tell you something about these numbers. And every year we emphasize the same thing. As much as we want to say these are the numbers, there's a lot of things that don't get reported. And there's a lot of things that don't make the media. And so in our estimate, the numbers are considerably higher. We just don't have any confirmation to show it. Several other statistics that are very important in 2017 to highlight: 16,877 lawsuits against private security firms or companies employing security officers. That's a huge number. That's a huge number. Some companies had multiple lawsuits. And in most of these cases, they settle out of court, so there's no judgment against them. But that's a lot of people suing security. And tragically, more than 2,300 security officers were arrested for on-duty crimes, thefts, rapes, and even murders. 2017 overall statistics were higher than 2016 or 2015, and generally we see no slowdown in sight. As the security industry grows, so too will all of the assaults, the injuries, the deaths, the arrests, the lawsuits. It's all part of the growing business, all part of the cycle of business. If you're employed in this industry, even as an investigator, a loss prevention agent, a uniformed campus officer, whatever the position, if you're in management, supervisor, you need to pay attention. You need to know what's happening in the industry, and you need to stay on top. It's for your own preservation. It's for your own, not only information, but to prevent yourself from becoming a victim as well as an offender or someone who is being sued and you're a defendant in a civil case. I've said this 1 million plus times over the years. The security industry isn't what it used to be. This isn't your grandpa's security world. Things are rapidly changing, and we have to change with the times. We have to become more professional. We have to insist on increased training. We have to insist on managing our team at all hours, day and night, really overwatch, really overseeing, really being on top of every aspect of our business, our employees, and overall, we have to provide a safe environment. That's going to conclude this episode of the Private Officer Beat. We want to thank you for being here, and we hope that you'll join us next week. Also, join us Wednesday for the LP Zone. It's all about loss prevention, mall security, retail security, Organized retail crime. Don't miss it this Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, hey, be safe, be blessed, and we'll see you back here on the radio.